Welcome to class. Hey folks, welcome to the video on while loops. A while loop is going to execute whatever code is inside the loop over and over again until an exit condition is met. For example, if you look on lines 14 through 16, you'll see that the exit condition is checking whether or not circles drawn is equal to circles to draw. And what this program will do is it'll keep doing what's inside the while loop. There's the ellipse and then the incrementation of circles drawn. It'll keep doing those two lines of code over and over again until circles drawn is no longer less than circles to draw. All right, so I'll back up a little bit and tell you what I did to make this work. First, up at the very top, I declared some variables. The circles to draw, that was going to be my exit condition, and the circles drawn will check over and over again against that exit condition. And then in the setup, I've initialized those values. I want to draw 10 circles, and I want to start out having drawn 0. In the draw loop, you see I have that while loop inside the draw loop. And this is one of the things that's going to make using while loops a little bit tricky for you. That while loop, it's going to execute the whole loop, all 10 times, inside one iteration of the draw loop. And so the way that I have things written out right now, it actually won't animate. It'll just show pop, 10 circles all at once. We'll have to move things around a little bit to make this animate with a while loop. And first, before we animate it using a while loop, what I'll do is I'll show you how we animate it using a for loop. And this is something that we've done before now. You'll see that inside the loop we are declaring, initializing, and then incrementing the variable circles drawn. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to, inside the draw loop at the beginning, I'm going to initialize circles drawn to 0. Otherwise, if I don't reinitialize it to 0 at the beginning of the draw loop, once I've incremented it inside the while loop, it'll go up to 10, and it'll just stay there, and it'll never do anything again. So I have to do this in order to animate it. And now I have my exit condition inside my while loop, and I have to add my incrementation also inside my while loop. Otherwise, the exit condition will never be met, and that could be bad. It is safe to experiment with that in processing. It won't damage your computer or anything. If you do lock up your computer, just hit the stop button. There we see we have our circles animated, and it looks good. Now here's something else I'd like to be able to do. I'd like to be able to have the circles draw onto the canvas one at a time. So it would go small circle, bigger, 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 bigger. And we'd see the circles spreading out over the screen. You'll find that in processing, this is actually easier to do outside of a loop. The draw loop is already a loop. And what you will find is that everything you do inside of the while loop, it's going to execute all those things, however many circles you want to draw. And then you get to the end of the draw loop, and it says, okay, everything that we have ready to draw, we'll draw it all at once. So if you want to draw something and show change over time, you're going to have to spread that out over multiple draws, or multiple draw iterations. And what I'm doing here is I'm just taking it out of the while loop and using the draw loop itself to draw in different circles. Right? So you see the circle spread, and it is actually drawing all these different circles as it goes out. It's just that we're covering them up with the fill. And then I can get rid of the fill, and you can actually see the old ones that get left behind there on the canvas. So that's actually a much easier way of doing this in processing. And for now, what you'll want to do is actually avoid trying to animate things inside of a while loop. I'm going to put a multi-step assignment on the webpage down below along with a hint. And I'll tell you the hint now, it's actually that you're going to want to go back later and check where you are initializing your variables to 0. But I'll remind you later.